You are looking live at St. Vincent College in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, in Steelers Training Camp 2025. It is Friday, July the 25th, day 3 on campus, day 2 on the practice field. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Training Camp Live, brought to you by FedEx. I'm Mike Pursuta, joined again today by Max Starks. We are here to talk about the opening of camp yesterday, at least the on-field opening of camp yesterday. And also what we might expect today as the Steelers begin to gain a little bit of traction, Max, but maybe not more than that.
No, it's still the acclimation period. It's still a time where the team's still getting to know each other, right? This is still, I got to wear my hello, my name is name tag to meet everybody on the team and get to acclimated to what the Steelers are trying to be for the 2025 season. Yesterday was a good start, Mike, where we saw guys move around and do football-like things. And we'll get further into that.
I love that phrase, yeah. Football-like things.
Yeah, because let's face it, I mean, spider shells and shorts. You know, Aaron Rodgers had his hat on backwards at certain points. So I think we're still in that friendly phase where everybody's trying to get to know each other and kind of get a feel for the coaching staff, how this is going to play. And we're still in the install period for a lot of these rookies and newcomers to the team. So it's a slower pace, but it's just from a snail's pace to now a sloth pace, you know, moving a little bit faster than before. Right there.
Sloth pace. I like that. That's how I roll usually. You mentioned it's, you know, they're just starting to install. The one thing that jumped out to me at least, we had spent a lot of time yesterday talking about Jalen Ramsey and where he's going to play.
Yes.
And I listened intently upon my arrival here at St. Vincent to Mike Tomlin talking about Jalen Ramsey in his camp opening press conference, and I went back on the transcript, Max, and counted 5 times he mentioned the word cornerback. Well, I guess slot corner is technically a cornerback, but I didn't see him outside yesterday. I saw him at safety, and I saw him in the slot.
Yeah,
I'm hoping the outside stuff is to come.
And I think that's what it is. You're still this once again, sloth, like you said, right? Sloth pace. To get guys acclimated, I think you have to fit a guy where they are. Darius Slay came here first, right? So he's going to be the guy that they put on the outside first. I think for Jalen Ramsey, late ad. And you know that when you have a void like a Minkah Fitzpatrick, that you're now trying to say, okay, well, how do we get these 3 guys on the field at the same time? Like, what does it look like? And the easiest thing is Jalen Ramsey is a very physical guy. There we go, getting the crowd hyped up. Already coming down.
Jonnu Smith.
Yep, that's Jonnu.
And non-participant yesterday, but here he is today.
Yeah. Bert Loughton and I gave him a ride up to the dorms. He was getting ready for practice. So, you know, it was good to see him out here. And as you saw, the Steelers youth camp was out here earlier on the turf field, on field number 4 that we rarely ever use. They were out there doing a little football camp before practice today.
They're easily distinguishable from the actual team.
You know.
Because one has youth.
One is and a lot shorter and smaller and non-developed yet. But so seeing those guys come down and now we get the hill. You know, that hill, it's great when you're going down. It is hell when you're going back up. And especially for if you're a rookie, like trying to get back up the hill with like everybody else's shoulder pads and helmets and everything that they take off on the field and tell you, hey, Rook, get it up the hill. That hill is a lot of laughs going down, a lot of crying going back up.
This is a tremendous little Steelers tradition, and I'm sure every camp has its idiosyncrasies or its noted traditions and the like. But that path, Joe Green walked down those steps.
Yeah, I mean, you think about Joe Green, Terry Bradshaw, right? The great Dwight White, Ernie Holmes, Lynn Swann. I mean, we could just go on. And the one thing that I love that Max Starks once walked those hallowed grounds. But every Steelers Super Bowl championship started here and started down there. And that's one of the things I think that makes it tradition unlike a lot of other places. Because a lot of other places have now switched back to being at home at their training facility or they go to their stadium and practice. This has been the summer home training camp site for the Steelers for over 50 years. And there's a lot of tradition that comes with that. And seeing those guys walk down that hill. Now, maybe it's got some new asphalt painted on there since they did. I think they actually walked down grass, but the path has not changed.
Gravel or something. Yeah. The route is the same and down the steps. I can remember a couple of years ago, we were getting ready to go to Friday Night Lights here. And, they lined the school buses up at the top of the hill. And Sal Palantonio was here. I think he was representing ESPN. And he was looking out across the fields at the Laurel Highlands here in the mountains and the sun beginning to set. And he was just blown away.
Yeah.
He was just babbling about it. This is so perfect. This is Western Pennsylvania. This is football. I love this.
Yeah.
I always get a kick out of people that come here, A, for the first time, or B, some guys I know that come every year. Jared Bell from
JB.
USA Today. He always makes sure he comes back here because
And he's right at the beginning, too, every
year.
year.
It's not going to be a football season to him.
Yeah, until he
without the quick stop.
sets himself right. Like, hey, before I go out on the road here, I got to touch base at home because this place feels like a home for a lot of sports writers, and then you go out into the field and disperse. So it's a great tradition. Like you said, the setting, it can't get any better. And
it could get a little cooler, and I wouldn't complain.
It can always get cooler. I mean, this morning I thought we were going to have rain.
So did I.
I saw it. I didn't come out here and do my full-on rain dance, but I should have, and it literally dissipated in like 2 hours. So it is one of those things where you wish it was just a little bit more overcast, but you appreciate the sunshine because it brings the fans out.
Now, you mentioned it's fun to walk down.
Yes.
How much fun? Talk about that a little bit. I mean, these people, they're lined up before the camp is open to the public.
Yeah.
They're lined up out on
jockeying,
the road.
yeah.
And then they're standing in those spots where they can just stick their hand out and get a high five for a long time.
Yes.
And there's not a lot of shade there, and they're just relentlessly enthusiastic.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's one of the things that I've, like, truly enjoyed when I think back about it. And even now, even at the end of practice when I'm walking and fans are kind of coming back around and going back to their cars, the fervor and the love that Steeler Nation shows to the players, we hope as players, when I was a player, to just give that back, whether it's just that high five, whether it's a hello, you stop and you just answer a question or sign a kid's T-shirt or terrible towel, and you go through your day. I don't realize how much that impact is until now I'm much older, and you hear people come back to you and say, man, Max, I remember when you were at training camp, you were sweating, it was a hot practice, and you came back out of the locker room and you signed everybody's autographs. Like, hearing those type of stories, it's like, well, man, dude, you come out here every day, you bring your kids, you probably took off time from work if it's during the week to come and make this a special occasion. How could I not want to pay that back to you and spend just a little bit of time? 5 minutes of my time is not going to really hurt my day because I know I can still go get my treatment and everything. It's not like I'm out there 9 o'clock at night. I mean, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Why not take the extra 15 minutes and do it? And the guys do it. I mean, they drop their pads at the end. They walk around, the base of Chuck Noll, the press box there in front of Chuck Noll Field, and they go up and down and they sign, or they go up the hill and they sign. And it's a beautiful thing when you get to see that because that just ingratiates you and makes a deeper bond and connection, the fans and players together.
I think Juan Thornhill used those exact words, beautiful thing. We're going to hear from him a little later today. He was our camp conversation. There we see another descent down to the field. But
yeah, another lumberer in the O-line crew there coming on down the stage. And, you got to love that. That's Max Sharping, a fellow Max, walking down the field. But it's fun.
Talk about how much it's not fun going back up, particularly after I imagine there were some bad days over the years.
Oh, there's some. So one of the things that's beautiful also about sitting on the field is you can see the mountain ranges in the Laurel Highlands. There's 3 distinct ones that you can see. And you know what type of day it's going to be based on how many of those are visible.
The haze
Yes.
factor.
If the haze, if you see 2 instead of 3, you're like, it's going to be a little hot. You see 1, it's like, I'm going to need to go get some electrolytes. I'm going to need to go put some salt in my system. And then you get to none, and you just do this. You just, please, somebody save me here because it's going to be a torrentially hot day. And you're looking at guys, I mean, you have body weight, like body fluid weight, like shifts of 6 to 12 pounds that you can lose in a single practice. And so that's why guys have to weigh in and weigh out because you need to know how much water you lost because cramping will become inevitable if you've lost anything, above 5 pounds when you're having those shifts. And I have cramped walking up that hill. That's how bad it hurts. That if it's a bad day, you will cramp on the way up. And guess what?
I don't mean to laugh at your misfortune, but you don't hear that a lot, cramping going up a hill.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and you don't fall up if you cramp. You fall back down. So you want to make sure that you're on top of your hydration, make sure that you're out there because it's a hot day. The one thing about being up here in the valley, the humidity traps. So you don't know that you're losing as much because your body's always wet. So that's one of the things I caution, and that's why going up the hill is a precarious situation versus going down.
Yeah, you have kind of in the event people watching haven't been here before, and you're a Steeler fan, I can't imagine that you haven't been, because it seems like everybody gets here eventually. But
exactly.
As you see behind us, it's kind of a natural amphitheater type of topography, and that it always reminded me of a frying pan about this time of year.
Oh, yeah. When you get, and we called it the pit. Literally, it's the pit for pit. So you get down in there, and you're in a bowl, and everything just hovers below. And I think that's something that you don't take into account if you're sitting on the hill. You're a higher elevation, so the wind blows through. But the wind doesn't hit because you're frocked on 3/4, almost like a horseshoe of land. So it's like if you catch the opening side, that lower side, street level side, you get a little bit of it, but then you lose it immediately, whereas everybody else, it just blows through and creates a consistent type of wind flow. But, down in the pit, you don't get that same feeling.
Of course, this is exactly what Mike Tomlin was hoping for when he moved the practices back.
Yes.
They were earlier last year. That was way out of character for how they had done it for years.
He didn't like it.
And now it's back to 155. And you hear a lot of the conversations. Look at that, Zach Frazier signing a little bit.
There we go.
Before he
Morgantown Mauler.
Before he even goes to work.
He's like, hey, I'm going to get on the front end. You know what? I'll see you guys on the backside too. We're going to be all servicing, and that's what I love about offensive linemen do that. If you notice, we showed an offensive lineman doing that. I haven't seen a guy in a yellow jersey do that yet.
No, I don't know that you will.
No. Look, see, high fives for Pat Queen as he's running down, and Zach Frazier signing an autograph. I'm just saying, that's just a good shot right there. We're lovable guys. Mike.
Mike Tomlin talked about wanting to see guys run to the adversity of the heat. Aaron Rodgers talked about wanting to see them in stressful conditions to see how they react. It's not hyperbole, right? I mean, you're out there and you start to lose it a little bit, and I would imagine, since I had never actually practiced down there, it's the mental part that goes first or threatens to, where you just get so hot you can't think.
Well, and you're going to lean on what you know, right? You always fall back on your training, as they call it, right? So
unless you cramp up and then you're just
you're just useless, right? At that point, it's like move the drill up 10 yards, But that's what you want to do. You want to create as many of these micro controllable environments to where you can put stress on guys in a controlled environment and see how they respond, so that when they get into the real stress situation of a game, or you're in a crucial drive in the fourth quarter, but you're in Miami and a 1 o'clock kick, I need you to not lose your mind and go quote unquote native, right? I need you to stay in, do what you've taught, do what you've been kind of told and kind of assessed on, and be able to kind of go under pressure, be able to make sure that you are doing the assignment. You don't forget anything, no matter how tired you are, no matter how battered you feel and your body's kind of giving up on you, because like you said, you're fighting the attrition inside your body. Can you still perform under duress, right? They talk about, Mike Tomlin always says this, pressure either makes diamonds or it bursts pipes. I needed to make more diamonds than pipes being burst in that process. So this is one of those environments where you can kind of micro-manufacture it.
Let's take a little look back at yesterday from a player's perspective. We've got a new feature this year on Training Camp Live. We're calling it our Camp Conversation. I was able with new arrivals, one of the recognizable names, Juan Thornhill, two-time Super Bowl champ in Kansas City, played recently down the road.
Yeah.
In Ohio.
Yeah.
Not Cincinnati.
That place.
But he's here.
In between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That place.
He's with the Steelers now, and he spent a few minutes yesterday with me down on the field talking about day one. Welcome to Camp Convo here at Steelers Training Camp 2025, day one in the books. And our guest today here at St. Vincent College, safety Juan Thornhill. Juan, got to start with the obvious. What do you think of your new summer digs here?
I mean, it's nice, being able to get away, away from, Pittsburgh, coming out here with our teammates, building that relationship and everything. I think it's great. The environment is amazing. A lot of fans coming out here to support us. It's truly beautiful when you got people and fans like that behind you.
Second obvious question, we dealt with this a little bit with Patrick Queen last year, coming from the Ravens to the Steelers. You're coming from the Browns to the Steelers. I know the NFL is all about change, but really, Browns to the Steelers, how's that working out?
It's great. I'm on the better side. That's all that matters. I'm on the better side now, to the dark side. So I'm excited about this opportunity. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Not difficult to flip that switch at all?
No. See, the thing is, I'm always where my feet is, Like, I'm here. I'm not worried about anything in the past, My past is my past. I'm just focusing on it now.
You're a recognizable name. They've brought in a lot of those this offseason. How is that kind of coalescing process going here in the early going?
I mean, got a lot of new pieces, Like, we all trying to figure it out, learn how to play together. Day one, I feel like we did pretty well. It was a hot one for sure, but, all the big-name guys, Jalen stepped up. Like, a lot of guys stepped up and made some plays today.
Tell us about your day. Looked like that secondary is going to be kind of rotating, fluctuating. How do you feel like it's going to suss out before September?
Like, we got guys that can play multiple positions. When you got guys like that, it's hard to, like, figure out what's really going on. You got guys that can play nickel. You got guys that can play safety, can play corner, literally can mix and match everywhere. So I think it's just going to make it a little more difficult for teams to figure out what we're doing. As we started practice today, we had Aaron throw us a pick, first play. So, I mean, I guess we're doing something right, With great disguises, he's seen a lot of football, and I'm surprised he actually threw that interception, though.
What's it like being on a team with that guy at quarterback?
Oh, it's amazing. Playing against one of the best each and every day is only going to make you better as a defense, Like I said before, I said it yesterday, if you're playing against a quarterback, that doesn't have a lot of experience and things like that, it's pretty easy to read them and things like that, and you're not going to be prepared for the game. But when you got a guy like Aaron, out here that's seen a lot of football, played in the biggest games, made a lot of big plays, and you see him every single day, is just going to make the game easier.
And center field, you did some of that today.
Yeah.
That's just part of the job, or is that going to be maybe most of your role?
Literally, like I said, I'm just going to do what they ask of me. I guess today was a little more center field. I had some opportunities to get down, and I'm just going to take advantage of every opportunity I got.
Juan, we really appreciate you taking a few minutes. Welcome to St. Vincent College.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
That was safety Juan Thornhill and Training Camp Convo 2025. He did say truly beautiful.
Yes, he did.
Wonder how it'll feel in a week and a half.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, it's truly dreadful.
Yeah.
It's like it's hot again.
But there is a dynamic to it. There's excitement at first, and then when you get to the pads, that gets everybody going. And then the first preseason games, like, oh, finally a game. And then
finally
you just
somebody else I get to hit.
You just
right?
want a real game after that.
Yeah, he's like, I need this to start counting because I only got so many. You start ticking off the rep count of your quote unquote season life. And I think that's one of the things. And I love hearing that from Juan Thornhill, like a guy who's been to multiple places. He's seen what success looks like, but he also knows what the AFC North is. And I think that's another thing. When you come in and you kind of know what it is, when you get into those division games, you're playing Baltimore, you're playing Cleveland, you're playing Cincinnati. He has that feel because he's played them in a different capacity. But I was also happy to hear that he's so much happier to be, quote-unquote, I think it's the light side, not the dark side. We can talk about Star Wars references, but I'll save that for a different show.
Yeah, I kind of always rooted for Vader.
I mean, listen, the voice was
dark
great.
Side.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. I mean, you can't go past Luke. I mean,
Yeah,
Yoda and Mace Windu. I mean, he had a purple lightsaber, for God's sake. I mean, that was pretty cool.
This is football.
What?
I don't want the nice guy. I don't want some little guy giving me philosophy. I want hit him.
Yeah, but you can still hit him. I mean, they destroyed the Death Star for a reason. I'm like, so there are the highlight moments, but yeah, you're right. It is one where the dark side did come with more manpower.
Plus, he's a defensive guy, so.
Yeah, so you understand. He would see it from that perspective. He is on the dark side.
That box checks.
And he has a darker jersey, too. Does
It
that count?
is. It's curious to me, and I know, it is professional football, and his point about I like to be where my feet are is very well taken. But a couple guys coming from Baltimore last year, a guy from Cleveland this year. What's going on here, Max?
I'm just saying, we're taking the collection and just getting the best, that we can. And sometimes a little information gets shared, a little telephone action between guys. Nothing big, but let's just face it, Cleveland did it for years. I remember when we used to have final cuts, they would go get like two guys from each side of the ball and bring them on the practice squad for just 2 weeks. And then after they played Pittsburgh and realized it didn't work, they would fire them. Because I remember one of my good buddies, Bo was one of those guys that he went over there and he was like, man, they just pumped me for information. And then he came back. Bo Lacey, 6th-round draft pick from Arkansas, class of 2004.
How could I forget?
I mean, yeah. How could you remember? Bo didn't play a single game for us, but he was on our P squad.
Well, now that you mention his name, I remember him. But
yeah. So I mean, so
been
Bo,
coming up here since '87. A lot of guys have come
true.
and gone.
How about this one, Scott Paxton, aka T-Rex?
Oh, I remember him.
He was another one that was a transfer back and forth, a trolley
T-Rex
guy.
because he didn't have the great.
His arms weren't as great as you'd want, but great personality. His personality was way better than his arm length.
Juan Thornhill mentioned that first play pick thrown by Aaron Rodgers. We're going to hear from Aaron eventually today.
Yeah.
He put that in perspective. But I'm curious your perspective. The media likes to chart what goes on out here.
Yes.
And, of course, there was a certain amount of excitement, even though there was no pads yesterday. What was going to happen on the first Aaron Rodgers snap, because he didn't take any 11-on-11 back at mandatory veteran minicamp. And I wasn't expecting a pick by Patrick Queen on a ball intended for DK Metcalf.
No, was not anticipating it. But you know what I think? Get it out your system now. Get it out your system. And also, it's not that big of a deal. I can see if Will Howard did that, and we're like, oh, this is going to be the starter. He's a rookie. He's first time in the NFL, like a Kenny Pickett type of situation. But I'm like, it's Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, okay, he misread Patrick Queen on that, which Patrick Queen is no just chump out there.
No.
Like, he is a bona fide dude. And you're throwing to DK Metcalf, who you've thrown on air against, and thrown with and done 7-on-7 stuff. But to go in a team environment, see the full 11 out there is a little bit different. So he's trying to figure out what his window is on those routes. So I'm like, that's an information gathering thing. I know everybody made a big, oh my God, that's the first one. But I'm like, it's training camp. That doesn't go on the stat sheet. I would love to have asked Juan Thornhill, hey, how many picks has Patrick Mahomes thrown in practice?
That would have been a good follow-up.
Yeah, that would have been. Hey,
Maybe
for
you
your
should
next
do that
convo
today.
I'll go down and do the camp convo, but I only if I get to hold your DVE radio mic too. That was a great job, kind of double dutying there. I appreciate that.
Well, you got to get it done somehow.
Yeah.
I mentioned at the outset, nickel and slot or safety, for Jalen Ramsey. I expect we're going to see him outside at some point, but yesterday it was Joey Porter Jr. and Darius Slay outside for the most part. Ramsey in the nickel, and then Thornhill and Deshaun Elliott at safety. And the safety positions, Max, look like they're trying to make those somewhat interchangeable.
Yeah, free and strong.
There's not a thumper and a center fielder. One guy's usually deep, but it can be a number of candidates to play that role. And that secondary, here's my one concern about it. Versatility's great. I saw one play where Ramsey was in the slot and the receiver went in motion, and rather than follow him, Ramsey sprinted back to center field, and Thornhill came up.
Yeah, the rotation.
And played the motion guy on the other side of the offensive formation. Complexity's great until it gets too complex, and then you got a bunch of guys standing around going, was that me?
So it's the Spider-Man meme?
Was that you?
No, it was
yeah.
you. No, you.
And Mark Andrews is in the end zone
yes.
saying, boy, somebody should have covered me on this because I just scored.
And I'll say this. That's one of the things that's the great thing. Like, as an offense, when you have motion like that, that tells you everything you need to know. It's like, is it man or is it zone? And that was a zone concept, right, that they rotate. But the problem is, like you said, if you get guys that are playing different positions, given that, how well-versed are they going to be to know where am I rotating to in the zone if I've been at nickel the whole time, the other guy's been interchanging, like you said, free safety and strong safety, so which one's going to come up? Because traditionally, here's how it goes. Your free safety is a guy who's mainly your center fielder, right? He plays back. That was Ryan Clark. Troy Polamalu technically was a free safety but played more strong because he was allowed to go in the box and freestyle and do a lot of different things. So as long as you know what your clear role is and you're not interchanging too much, it's okay. But like you said, if you got Jalen Ramsey playing outside some plays, playing inside some plays, playing safety some plays, that's where it's going to get confusing, and that's why you've got to be clean communicators on everything. It's almost like you have to over-communicate at the beginning to make sure everybody knows what their role is. And I think having a Deshaun Elliott back there kind of as your talking guy to get which was Minka last year. Minka was the guy that made sure everybody in the secondary knew what their role was and tried to communicate. That's what's going to be really imperative of Deshaun Elliott because he's the vet here in that secondary with all those new pieces outside of Joey. But Joey's on a corner, so he can't relay to the opposite corner what he wants to say. Has to come from the safety position.
These guys are obviously pros, and changing teams is something they adapt to. But I'm curious. We always hear Mike Tomlin talk about rookies, and then the second-year guys, he expects a big jump.
Yeah.
How about a guy who spent some time not here and then came here for a year? How about that second year here?
That second year here is always a lot easier. So, and especially when you have the same coordinator, right? TA's still the defensive coordinator, and I think that's what really matters is when you have consistency from your coaches, because that's the other part. That's the other element. You could be here for a second year, but if you get a brand new D coordinator, you get brand new defensive backs coach. Now you're like, okay, everybody is trying to learn a new language together, But when the language stays the same and you're in that system, now you can move more fluidly, and now you can work on what we call the nuance of it, right? Outside of me saying you have to specifically do this by the technical term name, if I've been here and we've worked together before, now we can create code words. Now we can create our own subset of the language so that we can communicate probably more in our lingo, because at the end of the day, the guys on the field are the ones that make the plays. So you have to be able to communicate in your own lingo, and having a good mix, now you can bring in those new guys and kind of ingratiate them with kind of how your culture is. So that's why it's a big fit. Second year in a system makes for a whole lot more progress.
And talk a little bit, if you can, about the challenge of quickly coalescing. You have Ramsey, as we're seeing right here.
Yes.
He's new to the team. Thornhill is new to the team. Darius Slay, who we saw a moment ago, number 23, is new to the team. These guys are going to play a lot of football.
They are.
Together at the same time.
Yeah.
The secondary is more than half remodeled, shall we say?
Yes. Reconstituted.
What's the challenge like there to get that group coalescing as quickly as it'll have to?
No, it's a huge challenge, but the good thing is, like you said, with the Juan Thornhill, with the Darius Slay, and with the Jalen Ramsey, they played in multiple teams. So it's not like we grabbed a third-year guy that only played in one place and it was a completely different system than what they're going into. These guys have played in a lot of different systems, so their uptick time is going to be a lot quicker. And they've been in this league and they've had to do that transition, so they already know what the icebreakers are, right, to get to know guys. And let's face it, in today's NFL, position groups also train together. And there's more commonalities than there are differences for a lot of these guys. You know, some guys will train in Arizona, some guys will train down in Georgia or Florida or Texas, and they're training at these big facilities and they're training together. I mean, Ryan Clark has DB Precision. A lot of defensive backs train there. You know, the place that I work at in the offseason, AMDG, has a lot of offensive linemen from a lot of different teams that work together. So when you have some prior relationships, it speeds up the process. And then when you have experience on your side of transitioning, it makes it a lot easier, but you still have to put the time in. At the end of the day, this is my group. This is where, like Juan Thornhill said, my feet are planted here, so I'm focused on the present and the future, not the past. And you kind of have to just dive 10 toes in and work on, hey, what does Joey Porter like to do? What's his mindset? Like, what are the things that interest him hobby-wise, so I can make sure I can make a connection with that guy, since we got to spend a lot of time together in the classroom, on the field, traveling together, and then playing on game days. You want to know what that is. So spending this time, like we see post-practice, that's really key. That gets groups together, that gets them going together. And one of the things I think about, is just stuck in my head, Mike, Cam Sutton. Like Cam Sutton last year used to pull all the DBs together, and they worked drills together as a unit. And Cam Sutton was dealing with suspension. He was just here. He wasn't allowed to practice, but he was still a part of it because he knew once I do get in, I need to hit the ground running. I need to know what they know. So I think the important thing is that post-practice, and then up in Rooney Hall, you know, at nighttime, guys, you know, Coach Tomlin does a great thing of having the tent. You get your evening snack, and then you have a lot of games and everything for guys to play and get to know each other. So cards are big up there, Uno, Phase 10, and your traditional, you know, 52 card, variety of bicycle cards. But it's just to get guys to get used to each other. And that's why I think also why coming here versus doing a camp in the city or staying at a hotel, you can get a lot of segmentation in the process. But this allows for guys to it's all sucking together. You know, you embrace the suck, so to speak. You're in it together. We all got the same 4 concrete walls in our room. Yeah. Some have mini fridges. Some have TVs.
Would you call it Spartan conditions?
Very, very, very Spartan-like conditions. And, you know, one guy probably has the Xbox room.
Say Spartan.
Yeah, exactly. But it's more 300 than the Michigan State variety, but still. But I think the biggest
play that on the Jumbotron at the home games, you know.
Oh, is that what you do?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, it's perfect. It makes perfect sense.
It's kind of a
Gerard Butler, a lot of airbrushed abs on the screen to get you hyped up.
Very much so.
Okay, there it is. I love it. Love it.
A lot of conversations being had by a lot of players, to Max's point, and a lot of guys are talking about them in terms of the getting to not just getting to know the Steelers' way of doing things, but getting to know their teammates and becoming a close-knit unit. Aaron Rodgers had a lot of stuff to say, including some stuff about that yesterday. He spoke to the media after that first practice of training camp interception that he threw, and he doesn't get to that here until the very end, Max. But stick around for it because I found his response intriguing. Let's give a listen to Aaron Rodgers yesterday.
How was that first day, Aaron?
Oh, it was good. Good to be out here with the guys.
What's it like just being out here at St. Vincent College, and how is this kind of different from your many other training camps here?
Not actually way different. We were at the dorms at beautiful St. Norbert's College for 14 years, first 14 years of my career. And in those years, I had to go from the third floor to the second floor. And finally, about year 6 or 7, I was on the first floor. So I'm on the first floor here, which is a good start. I got DK as my suite mate, so we're sharing a toilet and a shower. But I love this idea, this opportunity to be out here in Latrobe and to stay here and connect with the guys.
Is that your choice to have DK as a suite mate, or is that a Mike Tomlin assignment?
No, I was surprised. I was here Tuesday night, and not many other guys were here other than the rookies. And when I got in the room, I realized we were sharing something, and I was secretly kind of hoping it wasn't a big lineman or something. Maybe somebody had, cared about their hygiene a little bit. So when I walked in, I saw like a standard suitcase. I said, "Oh, I think it's gonna be good. This is probably DK." So.
Have you had roommates before in training camp?
I have, yeah. I've had a lot of different roommates over the years. Brett Good, our long snapper forever. He's probably my favorite roommate at St. Norbert's. We used to play a lot of pranks on some of the guys, and had some pranks played on us as well. But yeah, it's good.
How would you say the relationship between you and DK is developing on the field, and maybe how things went the first day?
Yeah, I think we completed one out of a couple that we had his way. But DK and I have worked out in the off season together. Got a good relationship. We talked about a lot of football stuff. We FaceTime. We texted during the off season after minicamp. So we got a good relationship. It's going to just keep on growing.
One thing that's happened since you signed on was the trade for Johnny Smith and Jalen Ramsey. Throughout your career, have you had rosters and moments where you had dual tight ends like you might have here in Freiermuth and Smith? I mean, what do you think about those two, how you can work with them?
Yeah, I mean, we always valued the tight end in Green Bay. We kept 4 many times over the years. But these guys, the 4 that we had, the top 4, all have unique skill sets and all can do different things. So I like it. The tight end position, like the fullback position, has been undervalued, I would say, the last few years. But being able to have, being able to go in 12 personnel can be an advantage with so many teams playing nickel to 12 these days. So if you got guys that can block and also run routes, you got an advantage there.
Aaron, what expectations of yourself for this team?
Sorry, one more
Do
time?
you have expectations of this for this team and of yourself?
I do, yes.
And they might be.
I'm not telling you.
Aaron, can you tell us what you've been doing since OTAs till now to prepare for this season?
I've been working out. I've been hanging at the beach with my dog, as you can see by getting stalked by TMZ. I was in Tahoe for a week, but other than that, I was working out at Proactive and spending time at the beach.
Anything different? Because you joined them later than you have been previously. Is there anything you had to do different to be ready for the season?
Well, the guys came out for a few days. We had a good time. Calvin hadn't seen the ocean before, so that was cool. We had a couple nice throwing sessions, good workout sessions. We had a nice dinner at Nobu. The Dolphins kind of went by right at the perfect time, and one of the guys, I won't embarrass him, asked if they pay the Dolphins to do that, to go by at a certain time. So we had a lot of fun. That was a good time to have those guys out. But other than that, it's been just the conditioning part's been important in the weights part, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Omar Khan said yesterday that he feels like this team is built to win a Super Bowl, to make a Super Bowl run. When you see the moves this organization has made, do you feel like this team is headed in that direction?
I think most of the 32 teams would probably say something to that accord at this time of the year. But I think that there's really only 6 to 8 that really have a legitimate chance. Sometimes it's 10 to 12, and there's teams that surprise you, but I would say on paper we're probably one of those 10 to 12.
How do you go from being on paper to being one of those legitimate 10 to 12?
I think it's coming together, times like this with these 17 or so practices that we have here, and finding the chemistry and hanging out with each other in the lunchroom and snack and the different times that we have, and growing together through our practice. Mike, wants to practice at the hottest time of the day, which, is interesting. But I love it just because it's a stressor. We see how guys respond to adversity.
You mentioned that chemistry. How do you kind of build that with guys throughout this process? Some of the guys we talked to on offense this morning really highlighted good communication. Is that a big part of it for you?
Yeah, that's the most important thing. You got to be saying the right message. Art has done a really nice job of giving me the opportunity to speak up in the meetings. So I'm always just trying to let the guys know what I'm thinking. It's been great communication between Tom and Matt and Arthur and myself. And hell, Mike was in the room this morning talking to us. So it's been a lot of fun. It really has. And I'm enjoying the process. And things are going to get better and look better as we go. But I'm excited about where we're at in day one.
Aaron, obviously it's still very early, but what is your first assessment of Will Howard and what impresses you most about him?
I just like his approach. He's a good kid. He cares about it. He works hard. He listens. He's a good note taker. He's been picking my brain. I told him last night, he was in the room, we were talking about signals. I said, what can I do for you? Because I want to be a support system for him and pass on anything I can. I don't want to overstep my bounds, but if he wants to learn anything or pick my brain or be in my hip pocket, I'm all for it. So I'm looking forward to growing that friendship. But he has all the ability and the talent, and when his time comes, I think he's going to have a great chance to be a long-term guy in the league.
Aaron, you said,
guys, two more. We got to get coached.
You said on McAfee recently.
Recently?
A week or two ago, this might be your look at this as it might be your last season. You go into the season thinking like this might be the last ride, or do you sort of just is that a decision you'll make maybe at the end of the process?
Yeah, I might go into the season like that. Might not.
Last one here. Last
Thornhill will surprise you through that
last one.
Is it any kind of omen your first throw in team periods picked off by Patrick Queen? What is that? What goes through your mind?
And it's good to get that out the way. It's good to get it out the way. Anybody that's watched me practice over the years, you like to try certain throws at certain times. And anybody that's watched me in the games knows I've been pretty stellar taking care of the football over the years. So there's going to be picks for sure. I'm going to try to fit certain things in. You gotta deal with some sweat on the ball from time to time. So it's going to be a good challenge for me throwing this heat every single day. I look forward to it. But I'm going to throw some picks. But I'm going to throw some touchdowns too.
I really liked the way he ended that interview, Max, and the way he reminded us, I'm pretty good at protecting the football, and I'm going to throw some touchdowns too. That struck me as subtle swagger.
Yeah, it was, and I think that's the confidence that you want. That's something we've kind of been missing the last couple of years since a certain guy, has chose to retire and move on. A guy that wore the number 7.
Ben something.
Yeah, he had a sandwich, right? He had a sandwich. The
Roethlisberger.
Burger, yes, that guy. No, Ben had a similar, and it's cool to see that kind of swagger come back. Right, it's like, yeah, okay, I threw a pick, so what? I'm going to throw picks in practice, but also I'm going to throw touchdowns in games. And I think that was the reminder of everybody, like, I've been there, I've done it, and I've seen what this is. But I also like the explanation, like, I'm going to try things. Because that's what this is for. That's what training camp's for. Like, why do you not come out here and try new things and try and see what you can and cannot get away with? This is the safest place that you can do that. Because it's not on the stat books. It's not going to count towards wins and losses, but it is going to build your rapport to know how I can operate and what I can and cannot do in games and how my guys respond to whatever I do in games. So it's all information gathering, and that's why I call it the pit down there, but it's really the forge. It's where you figure out what goes together, what kind of blends to make the strongest product. That's what they're doing down there.
What's a Florida guy learn about forges?
Listen, I read a lot of books.
Okay.
I read a lot of books.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, I also sensed a little sarcasm in there, a little snark.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes he wants to get in depth about football. Sometimes he wants to kind of poke fun at his teammates. Sometimes he just doesn't want to answer the question. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
But the one thing that has really struck me, Max, and I got to tell you, I didn't know what to expect from Aaron Rodgers. I just had no idea.
Yeah.
I know what's on the back of his football card. I know who he is and what he does. I didn't know how he's going to come in here and blend in or what the correct protocol is for a 4-time MVP. the players are talking about him because we in the media keep asking them about Aaron Rodgers, and they keep saying regular guy.
Yeah,
and they keep saying, boy, he likes to joke around and mess around. Now, developing story. It was said today that Ben Skoranek is busting chops back.
Yeah.
Now, Skoranek would not confirm that, but he didn't deny it either. But he's the kind of guy that just goes in the room and, let's chop it up.
Yeah, a little Cali attitude, right?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and that's personality, right? I think when you've ingratiated yourself with someone and you've been in this league and in the spotlight, like he kind of joked about TMZ watching me on the beach with my dog and everything, you kind of know that.
Well, he noticed yesterday TSN from Canada was here yesterday. I don't know if they're here today, but he saw the mic flag. Oh, TSN's here.
I mean, he's going to draw a crowd wherever he goes. And I think when you've been in that limelight as long as he has, going on 2 decades, right, that you've been in this environment, you have to not take yourself so seriously all the time. And you understand that whatever I say, people are going to take it however they want, so might as well say it the way that I want to say it, right? To control my own narrative, but yet know that I'm human, right? I'm fallible in these things. I'm not an infallible person. I'm standing in front of you and everything's perfect. I'm monumental, but I'm human. And I have a life. I'm private about a lot of things, but people encroach on that, and hey, it's just a part of the gig. But the only thing I found a little bit offensive was when he said about his roommate and the hygiene, and that being
because he didn't want to know lineman.
He didn't want to know lineman. You could have said D lineman.
They don't know
really
what that's about. Is what the point he was making.
I'm just like it is what it is. I mean, I felt like I was a stellar roommate in my years having to share a suite mate with somebody.
Who was your suite mate?
My suite mate when I first got my own solo room was Willie Parker.
Would he concur that you were a stellar suite mate?
Yeah, Willie would. Willie would, because here's the funny thing. So we're now going.
Hygiene-wise, you're pretty good now. I got to tell you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm good, but I mean, here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Like when you come to a dorm room here, you get the standard issue of everything. So toilet paper, just for an example, 1 ply.
You had to bring your own after your first year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, after the first day, I went right up.
To
Giant Eagle. Yeah. Walmart, Giant Eagle. I hit it. I was like, we need the Charmin Ultra 2-ply, please. Yeah. I need something. I don't want to feel like, I'm rubbing something else. You know what I'm saying? Like scratch board. But, I did that. I bought the soft soap, little dial soap instead of the bar that you get. Like I was a very, very good roommate, and suite mate, and I kept my area clean. I kept my stuff. So I took a little bit of offense. I'm like, I don't know what type of nasty dudes you've been around, but most of the guys I know, we're pretty cleanly.
But offend the offensive lineman, the very guys who need. Yeah. He's going to need to keep him upright.
But you know what? I will say this to Aaron's credit. Yesterday we're at dinner, and where was he sitting? Smack dab in the middle of the offensive line group. Yeah. He was flanked by linemen, and he was in there for about an hour, and they were just hanging out. And I really appreciated that because I thought that's something that a veteran knows because many years before, like it was hit and miss whether, that position would go sit with that group. Yeah, they'd come hang out with us. But to go and just sit there and kind of hold court and just hang out and be one of the guys, I thought that was a very good move, especially to see that first day after practice.
You can either relate this to Rodgers or just to star quarterbacks in general. Can you be the leader and be that guy and still be a regular guy? And is that a hard, as Bill Cowher might say, is that a fine line that a guy in Rodgers' position has to walk?
Yeah, it's a fine line, but at the end of the day, this is a human business, right? It's all about human interactions, good, bad, or indifferent. To play this sport, it's a team sport. It's not in a silo. So I think, you have to have your time where you need to be serious, but you also have to have a time where guys kind of understand where you come from. So when I do raise my voice at you as a quarterback to command your attention, I get it immediately without any kind of thoughts or anything ill-conceived. But yet at the same time, I'm not so resolute and not so much of a figure that I can't be talked to and I can't get constructive criticism. I think there has to be that balance of respect but yet approachability that you have to master at the quarterback position. And this is a guy who's mastered that because you think about all the successes, there has to be a lot of trust down there. I think of, in my mind when I'm thinking about Aaron Rodgers, I always think of the untimed downs that he had in like Detroit and like how guys like, no, what did he do? But the rest of the guys know. His line knows, hey, hold up. Aaron's going to make something special happen. And I think you have to have that kind of repartee where you can be fallible, but yet you also have to command respect at the same time.
Well, let's keep the Rodgers talk going because it is ever present out here. And yeah, part of that's media-driven. We're asking about it. But he is unquestionably a presence. We know he's here. We know who he is. And one guy who's really doing his best not only to get to know Rodgers, DK Metcalf, the marquee addition at wide receiver. Metcalf talked yesterday about not just trying to glean everything the football Aaron Rodgers has to offer in terms of passing knowledge along and understanding and observations, but also kind of how he is in the locker room with the fellas and how he is in the huddle. Let's give a listen to DK Metcalf yesterday here at St. Vincent College.
Hey, DK, how's Aaron throwing the ball?
Man, it's good. I know we first day out here in a team setting, so having a pass rush is a lot different than just throwing on air. But like I said, man, it's the first day. Mistakes are gonna happen. He's gonna throw a lot of touchdowns. Gonna throw some picks. Hopefully not many, but that's still a game that we play in. It was just exciting just to be out here for the first time.
Anything unique about his ball?
I mean, his release is unique, but no, sir. I mean, if it comes my direction, I got to catch it.
What are the
benefits of having Aaron Rodgers as your sweet man?
I mean, a lot. We can talk about a lot of stuff that we see the same on the field, continue conversations that we may not get to talk about in a meeting room. He gets to listen to a lot of my music taste or hear me yell at the video game sometimes. But, it's just going to be fun having him across the hall for me.
What does the process look like of building chemistry with a new quarterback?
It's going to be tough in the beginning, just like everything. But just knowing that I got his back, he has my back, and we're all trying to work towards the same goal, and that's to win a football game. So, that's just the nature of the beast that that we live in.
DK, were you excited about that matchup when you found out you were going to be sweet mates with him? Did you know before you got here?
No, I ain't know. He knocked on my door, and I thought it was the front door, and it was actually my bathroom door because we share a bathroom. And he was like, "Oh man, I was hoping it was you." I was like, "I did not think I was gonna have a roommate, but glad to see you too there." But yeah, it was a good experience just to see his face and knowing that we could continue conversations outside the meeting room.
DK, obviously you watched Aaron for a long time. Just watching him from a distance, what are the things that you know about him that you can sort of build upon coming into camp?
Just his knowledge of the game. I'm going to try to soak up as much knowledge as I can, try to listen to everything, going to listen to everything that he says, even the critiques that he has on my game. I'm going to be willing and open, go searching for those answers from him because, he's had great receivers in his past, and I'm just trying to be another one.
You've had a lot of matchups with Jalen Ramsey in the regular season over the years. How much are you looking forward to having matchups with him here at training camp?
Glad I don't got to play against him on Sunday, but we're going to have a lot of battles. Him, Slay, JPJ, like that whole defense is sick to me. So just to get to go against them in practice every day is going to be amazing.
What was your reaction when you saw the trade for him?
I was excited, actually, and then I found out that we got rid of another great player, which, is a bummer, but like that's the nature of the game that we live in. Got to know Minka for just a few days in passing and had a few conversations with him, a great player, and I was looking forward to playing with him, but he's on the other side of the ball now, and he's going to be looking forward to matching up with him when we play the Dolphins.
What's unique about
you talked about, you weren't going to try to overimpose as a leader on the other receivers, but when they come to you, you talk to them. Have you had more chances for those types of interactions with guys like Calvin and Roman?
Yes, sir. They just ask me stuff on the side about recovery-wise. What do I do during the off-season? How does my off-season training look? But I'm looking forward to more conversations when we actually get the ball rolling during the season or towards the end of training camp with how I prepare for the season, how I prepare for a game, or what do I do during the week to prepare for a game.
Mike talked about the importance of guys being kind of just being pass catchers regardless of their position. So like Pat and Jonnu being involved in that way. Is that something that excites you, knowing that like, hey, you guys are going to have a diverse set of receiving threats out there moving all around?
Oh, yes, sir. Just to have playmakers like that all over the field is always a plus on any team. That means you have a lot of chance to go one-on-one, get a lot of one-on-one matchups on the defense.
What's unique about Jalen
Ramsey? He's 6'3", 200 pounds, and he's a big corner that loves to hit. He's physical, and he's very smart, very cerebral on the field, and then he talks to back it up. So you can have all those traits. You're a damn good player on defense.
What excites you most about your opportunity here in Pittsburgh?
Just a fresh start. Not trying to, have any expectations towards anything. Just, taking it one day at a time. Looking forward to what we can build here, and for years to come.
Aaron mentioned that you guys were able to work out together individually in California. How often were you able to do that? And in your experience, how long does it generally take to develop that chemistry with a quarterback?
We only got together twice, one previously before he signed and then one after he signed. But I don't think there's a timetable on chemistry. Like, it's just dependent on the QB receiver, QB running back, QB tight end, of how much work we're willing to put in on the field, off the field. And plus, it's the ultimate team game. So we all have to be on the same page, all 11 people, when we call a play out there. O-line has to block, or, receivers have to block if the running back gets the ball, or we have to make sure we iron out all the details about, route depth or how I release or how I want to catch the ball running and everything. So I don't think there's a timetable or anything, but, what better way to do it than out here against one of the best defenses in the league.
DK, you were talking about being in the dorms. I assume it's been a while for that?
Oh, hell yeah. I ain't been in the dorm since 16, huh?
What do you make about being away for camp and this environment here?
I'm looking forward to it. It's a good experience just to, be around the teammates, the guys. So, these are all my new teammates. So it's just like I get a fresh start learning everybody's names, where they're from, number, what they like to do, who likes to play video games, who's very cerebral, who likes to read books. So I'm just trying to learn everybody. So it's going to be easy to play with each other on Sunday.
Has Aaron shown any interest in video games? If so, any that you might be
I thought he did. He walked in my room yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, you're gaming?" I was like, "Yeah," and he just walked out. So I was like, "All right."
What were you playing?
NCAA.
You're a popular guy along the fence there. What's your first impression of Steelers fans?
Oh, yeah, they're a little rough. There's some kids in the front that they were really trying to push up against the fence, and, I like to get the kids first before I get to any grown-ups. But, it's like, 3,000 people out here? 4,005? Like, it's a lot of people. I'm not used to that at a training camp.
DK, has Joey Porter wanted opportunities against you, and what do you think of that matchup?
Oh, he's a great young player. Looking forward to the matchups we continue to have, but I think he's a very good player, and I'm going to try to, sharpen him as much as I can, and I'm definitely going to be asking him questions about what he sees in my game that I can work on.
When we talked to Omar Khan yesterday, he said he feels he built a roster that can contend for the Super Bowl. When you look at the numerous moves and the aggressive approach, what do you see as the potential for this?
That's not my job. My job is to run routes, catch the football, and block. But I'm thinking we all work together. Who knows what we can be? So I'm just excited to be here, bro. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to what we can build as a team.
What have you seen in Aaron in terms of his leadership and his presence in the locker room with his teammates?
He talks to everybody. He loves to crack jokes. He's very sarcastic. And then how he commands the huddle when he gets in it, like everybody, is quiet and listens to him. So I think he definitely has that presence when he steps in the huddle, and he commands the leadership and respect when he's off the field.
Yeah, he covered a lot of ground there, Max, and he's talking about a teammate who is obviously a well-known figure in football circles, but they haven't been hanging out together that long. And yet he can speak to Aaron Rodgers about the wealth of knowledge and how he can glean things that can help him in his career from Rodgers' critiques. And he can talk about Rodgers being sarcastic and cracking wise and that kind of thing. That's made an impression on me. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I find it very interesting the way people are reacting to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and I think, and that's that balance we talked about, right? You have to have the balance of being approachable, but yet being respected at the same time. And I think all of those things DK kind of reinforced what we were thinking, what we were hoping, but you hear it not only from him, but then from others as well, that he's an approachable figure. And I think that's the other thing, because we get caught up in the mystique of a guy because of what we've seen from the outside or what's been reported to us. But now when you get the actual up close and personal and you can actually practically apply it, that's where we start to see kind of the total picture of who this individual is. And I love it. I mean, the fact that they're sweet mates, he walked, "Hey, oh, so you're a gamer?" He's like, yeah, play it. He's like, "All right, bye." Kind of just walked out the room. Like, I'm not even going to get into this. So I think that's another cool facet that we now get to kind of unpack and kind of really get to know, so you can create a complete picture about who the guy is that's literally leading our team. The quarterback position is that position, whether it's de facto or whether it's assumed. You look at the quarterback first whenever you identify any football team.
And to your point, talking to everybody, I mean, this is going to be an ongoing story. We're going to be doing these. Somebody's going to be doing these shows every day. when the practice takes place out here at St. Vincent. And a couple other guys were asked about him today. I mean, Ben Skoranek has a lot to say about Aaron Rodgers. Calvin Austin has a lot to say about Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure whoever we ask is going to have something to bring to the conversation. Before we get out of here, a transaction today. Those things can come up out of nowhere at any time, and one has today. Steelers announcing that they have waived defensive tackle Dominique Davis and signed safety Chuck Clark. That's a recognizable name.
Very.
Chuck Clark, 6 feet, 209 pounds. Played with the Baltimore Ravens from 2017 through 2022. Did not play in the 2023 season because of an ACL. And then 12 games played with the Jets last year in 2024. Was he here in camp last year with the Steelers before he got to the Jets, or am I remembering a different Chuck Clark?
I feel like that's the same name, Chuck Clark. That sounds very familiar, and I think because he's a defensive back. And so I think
Safety.
he was here. Oh, yeah, safety. Yeah, so and a guy that has a lot of experience.
They just traded one of those.
Yeah, they traded one of those, and now, we need another one here. So I think he's one. He was in camp, I believe, and then went to the Jets after us because we didn't need that position help a year ago.
I thought I was remembering that. We'll try to verify that before tomorrow. Another guy that we'll probably hear from tomorrow, Sebastian Castro from Iowa.
Yeah.
Safety again. Max, I was going to say he's my camp sleeper. I wanted to get that out before the pads came on, but a lot of other people think he's their camp sleeper, which to me doesn't make him very sleepy.
It's not very sleepy when everybody's saying it.
Yeah.
It's almost like Jalen Warren a couple of years ago, right? We're like, that's a sleeper. Then you watch the first linebackers and running backs drill. You're like, oh, yeah, this guy's not a sleeper. Everybody's talking about him, and now we see him a number of years later still doing that and still with the squad. So, no, I mean, it's okay. You said it first.
I think I did, actually, but everybody
once
jumped
again,
on.
Mike, I'm saying you said it first. That's going to be my source. When he does do something, I'm like, well, Mike Pursuta called it out.
Do you have one of your own that you'd like to
I don't think but I don't think he's a sleeper. That's the other thing. That's the one thing, because I feel like Black's going to be really good.
Y.A. Black?
Yeah, Y.A. Black. I think he's going to be really good.
I'm with you. I don't think he's a sleeper.
Yeah, he's not a sleeper at all. But that's
draft pick's hard to.
Yeah, and I'm most intrigued to watch him when the pad's on. You know what I'm saying? Like guys that you're excited to see. Like I want to see how he does. I can't wait for Caleb Johnson and what he's going to bring, because I really think
we just mentioned 3 Iowa guys in a row.
Yeah, exactly. There's something about Iowa guys, I guess, this year. That's our pick. I guess I'm a Big Tenner now. I guess I need to turn up my Gator.
I've been working on you.
Yeah, you have. It still hasn't worked.
I haven't made any progress.
No. But you know what? There's still time. We'll put it at that. There's still time.
I'll never give it up. But your point about Y.A. Black, I think that's a guy that I don't think he got the buzz necessarily that he should have gotten, because he wasn't a stats guy in college.
No.
But there are people on the defensive line, they too serve, who take up space, or something along those lines.
Well, and I think also because Derek Harmon was drafted first, right? So when you're talking about D-line, like you have to say Derek Harmon first. And
but that's the guy you expect sacks out of him and
I expect
splash.
That.
I don't necessarily expect splash out of Y.A. Black.
I expect a black hole, literally. A black hole. Y.A. black hole.
Runners go in, but they don't come out?
They don't come out. Or our blockers try and do, and then they disappear. That's what I feel about it. So I think when I'm looking at guys like that, I don't like the fact that the 78 is in yellow, but I appreciate the 78 is out there. That's also another feeling of mine.
I think they should just go ahead and retire it. But
yeah, me too. But not for me.
It's almost a double insult. You got the hygiene thing from the quarterback today, now somebody's down there wearing your number.
A D lineman's wearing my number. Yeah, it's just – it's tough. It's tough, but you know what? But I also walked up to him at the lunchroom today, and I said, listen, I'm the old 78. I was like, you're the new 78, and I'm excited for you, for what you can do. I said, just continue to do what we know you're capable of and what you know you're capable of, and just let it happen.
Fine tradition with that number.
It is. I'm just saying, all of our Super Bowl teams has had a 78 on it. I can't say that for every position.
Dwight White back in the day?
Dwight Mad Dog White was the first one that made it famous.
Speaking of history, before we get out of here, I think you mentioned Troy Polamalu. We saw him walking by.
Oh, him and Ike were walking by.
Troy's 2 sons are ball boying, as you put it, out here for
my nephews.
For a couple days. Brett Kiesel was here yesterday. Larry Brown from the team of the 70s.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned Ike Taylor checking. Ike's doing a little work, right?
Yeah, Ike works in the scouting department.
Yeah,
so he kind of has to be here.
He's not a visiting alum like the other guys.
But Jeff Harding's also down on the field. He was doing the Steelers youth camp when I went by earlier, so I saw him. So I'm looking forward to saying hello to Jeff. And then Willie Colon will be here tonight.
No kidding.
He's going to do a scouting internship as well. So
always enjoyed Willie when he was here.
Yeah, that's my little brother, man. So I'm looking forward to having him here. And, that's the one other thing that's great about here. The Steelers legends that participate and still get to be a part of the organization. So it's really awesome.
That's going to do it for us today. I want to thank everybody for finding us wherever you found us, whatever Steelers social media platform. We're going to do it again tomorrow, so please come back then. Until then, for Max Starks, I'm Mike Pursuta. This has been Training Camp Live, brought to you by FedEx. Good afternoon, everyone.